Okay, it's on. Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are here, you already know what to expect from me. It's gonna be something Norway related, and lately it's mostly about Norwegian true crime. Today I am bringing to you an old case, which means that you and me, we're gonna jump into our time machines, and if you are a frequent guest of my channel, you already know what it means. We are moving back to the past, and this story is gonna bring us back to the Norway of 1950s, to a place that is a community within Bergen called Fana. So it's a story from the hood around me. And usually when I'm covering cases that happened like around me somewhere here, I take it really like personally, it's like more exciting for me. I think you will get it why. Oh, I also wanted to say, I apologize for my morning voice. I just woke up and I understood that I won't have any time further in the day or in the week, so I decided to do it early in the morning. So if there is a crack inside, I'm sorry. But I managed to put the makeup and I think I look pretty much fine. Let's start.
Year 1958, January the 18th. A local hairdresser, Astrid Aardal, disappears from her home in Skjoldskiftet in Fana, Bergen. She was reported missing but was never found. That was until 1963, when a man came out with an announcement that made this unsolved case even more mysterious and complicated.
Astrid Aardal was renting her own hairdresser premises within a farm that belonged to a couple, and their surname was Hollekim, but I'm not sure it's that right pronunciation. I've heard Norwegians say something else, but I beg your pardon, but I'm gonna say Hollekim. Of course, it might sound weird for a hairdresser to rent premises in a farm, but remember it's 1950s, so most probably the city had not been so much developed as it is right now, because Fana now is like full of buildings and shops and everything. Maybe in those times it was less so crowded, and having a farm there and renting your own studio there did make sense. Maybe in those times it did not sound so weird as it sounds right now. So anyways, this hairdresser Astrid was renting her own studio there in this farm. And again, as long as your business is running and you have clients, any kind of premises will do. Even a farm. I mean, I would like to have my hair cut while hugging a baby goat, if that was a thing like included in the service. Did I just invented a new trend and new business idea? If somebody is about to steal it, I'm gonna come after you. All goes well until January 18, 1958, when Astrid suddenly disappears, and Hollekim couple, to whom this farm belongs, actually are the ones who are contacting the police and are filing the report of a missing person. The couple comes in the police office and they say that Astrid disappeared actually even the day before, and she left the premises with a bag that was full of money. Specifically, she had 33,000 Norwegian kroner with her. The only thing that this couple says is that Astrid was supposed to pay debt with this money. What kind of debt? Any kind of specifics, it's unknown. But honestly, while reading this, I already got suspicious about the money thing. I mean, firstly, how did this couple know how much exactly money she had in her bag when she was leaving? And how did they even know that there was money in this bag? And again, it's not that a person who has this large sum of money in her bag, this kind of person would not go around and just tell, hey, I have a bag, there's a lot of money, I'm going. This sounds weird. And secondly, I couldn't really figure out this debt thing that they were mentioning. What kind of debt? Was Astrid in debt to Hollekim couple? If it was like that, then literally it means that she disappeared with the money that she was supposed to give to them. I don't know, like, there weren't any details about that, but it sounds so weird. Anyways, the police treats this case as any like normal missing persons case, whatever it means. That was what the source was saying that I was reading. I guess they weren't like putting into that so much effort. That's just my interpretation. So 5 years pass and still nothing. They do not find Astrid. They have no clue, no witnesses, anything. And I believe that after 5 years of the person missing, it means that the person might already be dead. But of course, Astrid has friends and family, and they are concerned. And throughout all of these 5 years, they've been like constantly, if I can say, harassing the police, like calling and asking if there are any updates, how far are they in finding Astrid, and stuff like that. And so in the year 1963, it's another day when parents approach the police. They actually visit them, and they just say like, hey, what's up? Like, it's been 5 years. Do you have any updates? Can you please at least try to do something? After this visit, this case was assigned to a police officer. His name was Oystein Duvik, and he just starts to look into this case more specifically, step by step. Just a side note, if this case was assigned to Oystein right now, who was looking at it before? Like, if they assign a policeman only now? Like, I don't know, I'm so confused about this. What was happening all of these 5 years? Any ideas? But this policeman, Oystein, he looks into all of the statements provided by Hollekim couple and everything around this case, and he gets really suspicious. And this is when he decides that he will get into that in details. He will get into those things that were overlooked 5 years before. He checks Astrid's financial history and concludes that this woman could not have the ability at any point of her life to have such a large sum of money with her. Remember, 33,000 Norwegian kroner. Unless she was involved in some shady things. But remember, she was just a simple hairdresser. So the question is, was there really money with her? And if there was, maybe that was the main reason of Astrid's disappearance. So this looks suspicious enough, and Oystein decides to call Hollekim couple again. Specifically, he calls Sigurd Hollekim because the couple had already been divorced by this time, so he contacts with Sigurd. There in this conversation, Oystein mentions that the statement that the couple provided 5 years before doesn't look legit, like he do not really believe that Astrid was leaving the house with 33,000 kroner in her bag. As I mentioned, the couple had already been divorced, so the main communication at this point is only with Sigurd, and he's invited into the police station for interrogation. And on October 9th, 1963, after interrogation, Sigurd finally says that he killed Astrid. And basically what he says is, I will now put all the cards on the table. According to Sigurd's words, it was who was in debt to Astrid, not like we thought at the beginning that Astrid was in debt to the couple. So this is this. And he explains that he was in debt to Astrid for around 15,000 up to 20,000 kroner, and on that day when he killed her, he was supposed to pay the first installment of 4,000 Norwegian kroner, but he didn't have the money. What he does is he tricks Astrid in a barn by saying that, can you please come and help me with something? She of course follows, and this is when he comes and just hits her with a sledgehammer, then he strangles her, and 2 days after he makes a bonfire and basically burns her. But you know, this wouldn't be my channel, and I also at the beginning said that this is unsolved case. Everything is not so easy as it seems, because there were so many inconsistencies of the statement provided by Sigurd. And this is why I'm saying, hold on guys, this is not the end of it. Afterwards, they managed to find Sigurd's ex-wife, who was like the second half of the couple during those times when Astrid disappeared. During the interrogation, Sigurd's wife confesses that she knew about this murder, but she wasn't anyhow involved in that. She actually says that Sigurd told her about the thing that he did to Astrid only the next day when they were going to bed, like preparing to go to sleep. I can just like imagine how it happened. Like, honey, how was your day? Oh, nice. Glad to hear. Okay, sleep well now, honey. Oh, by the way, I killed the hairdresser who is renting the studio in our farm. Basically, Sigurd's wife tries to imply that she's innocent. However, police is not so much convinced about her innocence. Anyways, a couple of days after Sigurd's confession, they also arrest Sigurd's wife because basically she's accomplice. I mean, she knew about it for 5 years and didn't say anything. Needless to say that these arrests came as a big surprise for the community. I mean, people were talking about Sigurd as a really quiet, hard-working man. He wasn't showing any kind of violence, and he was so much dedicated to the family. Actually, he and his wife had 4 kids, so he was working 4 jobs in order to provide for everyone so that everyone's happy and everything's fine. I mean, it must have been hard, like having a farm and work and have this huge family, so nobody said anything bad about him. However, neighbors and acquaintances were not saying the same about Sigurd's wife. They actually said that she was acting like Real Housewife of Fana. If you know, you know, the show. Like, she was constantly complaining about the lack of money. However, she was also managing to spend all the money that was coming into the family budget. She was treating Sigurd quite badly, not respectfully. So, let's be honest, she was quite bitchy and nobody really enjoyed the company with her. Nobody really liked her. It just shows what kind of woman she was. Okay, now, I think this will be one of the rare cases when I'm actually saying compliments to the police of that time. Because although the case seemed like closed because they have a confession from Sigurd, they still continue to dig deeper because they just felt that it all looks so weird. What they do, they decide that they're gonna invite Sigurd for interrogations again and again and again. And what they notice is that his statement about how he killed Astrid changes almost every time when he comes in and tells it again. More specifically, he changes the part of how he gets rid of Astrid's body. Remember, he said that he hit her with a sledgehammer, strangled, and then he made a bonfire and burned her. So now he tells that he didn't burn the body. Now he tells that he dismembered the body, took a horse and a cart and put the body parts on the cart, and took it to Flesland Airport, which is the main airport of Bergen. At that time, there was a huge renovation taking place in Flesland Airport, so this plays in favor for him. He puts all the body parts in a landfill that was later on covered with an asphalt. Basically, what he says is that Astrid's body is somewhere out there in the area of airport, under the road, under the asphalt. I feel like he's trying to get rid of the body in a way that nobody can actually go and check whether Astrid's body is there or not. So why is he doing this? Why is he trying to prevent the police to find the body so that they can provide some kind of closure to the family and friends? But the police act smart. They do not leave it like that. They found a big excavator and they are going to dig up the asphalt and find Astrid's body parts. And so extensive excavation works are started in 1964. And can you guess what the result was? They didn't find anything. Yeah, you guessed it. Good job. Besides the fact that Sigurd was misleading the police, it also dig a hole in the pockets of Norwegian taxpayers, because all of this excavation project, if I can say like that, cost around 100,000 Norwegian kroner. Apart from this circus that Sigurd made with the police with all of his confessions and changing the statements, he was still put on trial. And it started in 1965 and it lasted for 4 weeks. And during all of these 4 weeks, Sigurd did not change his confession. he was alleging all time that he is guilty, that he murdered Astrid.
Sigurd Hollekim's defense attorney Alf Norhus warned before the main negotiations start that he will go against the client's confession and demand a full acquittal. Norhus goes against his own client, Sigurd, and claims that it is in his nature to take all the blame. He is strongly religious, and Norhus says that he lives in a kind of Jesus role. The confession must be seen in this context, he implies. Also, he mentions that in all the sessions he had with the client, it seemed like he did not care so much about himself. He was all time asking and worried about his ex-wife and kids.
Meanwhile, Sigurd's wife comes back and changes her own statement. She actually says that she didn't know anything, and she denies also the bed confession. Remember that she said that he came and he told her before they went to bed. So what she does is that basically after she understands that Sigurd is taking all the blame on himself, all the sins, everything, she now switches the position and says, yeah, it's true. I wasn't involved completely. I'm totally saint. Can you even imagine how stupid it looks? A man says he's guilty, although he by no means looks guilty, and nothing witnesses, nothing shows that he is guilty. And then there is a woman, that's gonna be my opinion, so don't come after me. There's this woman who might be involved at least, or maybe she's even guilty and the husband is trying to cover her. And not saying that Sigurd is saint, but definitely something is wrong with this couple. They have this very bad chemistry between, Anyways, on May 1965, court comes out with the verdict for Sigurd, and they say that he is not guilty. Yeah, you heard it right. Although he was confessing, although he was saying I'm guilty and was never taking back his words, the court decided that he is not guilty, which in my opinion is very logic, because if we look at it from a sane mind, there were no evidence, just what Sigurd was saying, and what he was saying was changing constantly. Yeah, and I mean, if they had said and chose the easiest way and said Sigurd is guilty and just put him in the jail, I mean, this would kind of prove that any random person can come into a police office and say that, yeah, I was the killer to any kind of murder that is taking place in the city, even if he wasn't there. So it makes sense. And again, I don't believe that I'm actually saying this. In this video, I'm giving kudos to the court and the policemen of Bergen at that time, specifically the guys that were working in Fana with this case. I mean, they were working quite good. Some sources say that after the court announced that Sigurd is not guilty, his ex-wife even cried a little bit, and Sigurd, being this humbled and quiet man, also smiled a little bit. So maybe he was really relieved that finally this has come to an end. And also, needless to say that after this court ended, all of these interrogations and all this nightmare ended, Sigurd went out of it completely broke. Okay, now let's talk some theories. I have a couple of them, so let's just brainstorm right now. Firstly, remember, as I said, and people were saying to the police that Sigurd's ex-wife was very money-driven, she was greedy, complaining all the time about money, so I got quite suspicious about that. So maybe the main reason of Astrid's disappearance was money, and maybe all of this is somehow linked to the Hollekim couple to an extent, but I don't think that the Sigurd was the main mastermind behind that, if you know where I'm getting. And also there's another thing that kind of proves my point of view. Soon after the court said that Sigurd is not guilty in the 1965, Sigurd's ex-wife sued and demanded compensation from the government for unjustified custody, because she was brought in and put as a suspicious person and charged as an accomplice, and as a result she got 25,000 kroner from the government. Sigurd, in turn, did not sue the government at all, even though he was in jail and actually going through the court as the main suspect of killing Astrid. It just shows two different personalities, and I don't know, guys, I feel like the wife is too shady to be innocent in this. Also, let's not forget that everyone was saying that Sigurd's ex-wife was constantly disrespecting Sigurd, and he was the main person who was providing for the family, working as a horse, and she was just like a butterfly flying around and still being quite bitchy. I mean, I think Sigurd was under her influence. I don't know if it was love or whatever, I do not judge. And I believe that maybe she could have done this to Astrid. Sigurd, as a dedicated husband, was trying just to help her out. Maybe he was the accomplice and the wife was the mastermind. Again, just a theory, just saying. And the neighbors and the people who know ex-wife also said that she had a very bad temper. Maybe there was an argument between her and Astrid. Who knows? I'm putting my bet on the ex-wife. It looks like her. However, we don't know. Maybe the couple did not have any kind of connection to this Astrid's disappearance. It is also possible. But what is important, and you have to remember this at the end of the story, all of this aside, we still do not know the answer to the main question. What happened to Astrid Aardal? Was she killed, or was she simply going away and disappearing because she wanted to? Was there some money involved? Was there even a money? So the family do not have the closure. She just poof, disappeared, and we don't know anything about how it all happened. So here it is. This is the story about the Hollekim case, and it's also quite weird that this case is called in the name of this couple and not in the name of the woman that disappeared, Astrid Aardal. Well, I guess maybe it makes sense because all of this circus was because of this couple, not because of her, because we don't know so much about her, and up to nowadays we don't know. So I need to know your opinion. I don't know. I explained what I'm thinking, now it's your turn, so see you down there in the comment section. So since I'm in a hurry, I already said, I beg your pardon, there will be no shoutouts. Sorry, I promise to do that next time, so be very active in the comment section. I promise that I will make a longer shoutout section because of that, because I failed today. I had to really run. Thank you for listening to the story. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done that. Press those likes, share this video with anyone who would be interested to hear the story. That being said, stay curious, ask questions, stay happy, stay safe. Bye! See you next time!